Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting, me, Carl the Cobra Froch. Whilst I've got you, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and share this video with all your hombres, and I shall leave you to, what are you laughing at? Just come back from Spain, hombres, that's the right, it's in the right context.
Arriba!
Anyway, back in sunny England.
So, it's Smith versus Chris Eubank Jr. 2 this weekend. How do you see it going?
Smith Eubank Jr, repeat or revenge. Me personally, I think it's going to be a repeat. I think Liam Smith's going to do the business, especially because it's at 160 pounds, super welterweight. It's not light middle anymore. Super welterweight limit, and I just think at that weight, Chris Eubank Jr. is drained. I think that was his problem in the first fight. He tried to make the catch weight 157 to accommodate Conor Benn, the fight that never happened. And I just think getting down to 157 has took the sting out of his tail. I don't think he's as strong. I don't think his punch resistance is there. I don't think he can do 160 pounds and be comfortable. He's coming slightly below again, like he did in the first fight. I think Liam Smith was smack on the 160 limit. He looks like he's got a bit of flesh on him, Liam Smith. He looks really, really comfortable at the weight, which means he'll be strong at the weight. Chris Eubank looks fantastic. He's in great shape. You can see the cut around his pecs. You can see his six-pack. But to be fair, he always looks quite lean and tough and strong. But he looked like that in that first fight, but he looked more gaunt in his face. So maybe Eubank Jr. does look like he's done the weight a bit better, but I'm not convinced. Down at 160 for Chris Eubank Jr., who I think his best performance has come at 168, super middleweight, especially that performance with George Groves in the Super Series. He went the distance with him. All right, he lost the fight, but he took some heavy shots on the chin and withstood them punches. He also withstood the punches from me in sparring. I hit him with some big heavy right hands and hooks, a couple of uppercuts went in there. And Chris Eubank Jr. was very tough in that sparring.
So how long ago was that?
That was before my, that was 9 years ago, that was before my rematch with Georgie Boy in the, the big fight at Wembley.
How did the sparring go then? Tell us a bit about that.
Listen, I was hitting Chris Eubank Jr. It's a kind of fighter. What Eubank Jr. does, he stands off and he waits and he looks, and he's not the best boxer. He never boxed as a kid, so he ain't got that boxing ability. But when he gets in range and decides to go to work, he throws clusters of punches, 5, 6, 7 punch combinations. Then he'll get off to the side, or you'll hit him with a shot, and he'll roll back in and get straight back on your chest and throw a load more shots. He works in bursts, and we didn't see that in that first fight with Liam Smith. I felt it in sparring for all the rounds of him sparring. And George Groves was also on the end of that as well when he was attacking George Groves throughout that 12-round contest. But that's up at super middleweight. He can take the punch. He's got punch resistance. He's fit for 12 rounds. He looks fit and strong, and he looks aggressive, and he looks like he can do some damage. I don't think he's big enough for super middleweight. He's not a big puncher up at super middleweight, but he can hold his own. We're down at 160. I don't think he's got the punch resistance. We saw it in the first fight with Liam Smith. He got clipped on the chin, and I was as shocked as George Groves was on the night working the broadcast for Sky Sports. And he just looked shell-shocked. He looked like his punch resistance was gone. You see him when he got caught with that combination. He was down. Then when he got up, he was stumbling all over the ring. And I think he had a good, round 3. Chris Eubank had a great round 3, landed a few uppercuts. But nothing happened in round 1 and round 2. Round 3 landed a few good uppercuts, but Liam Smith was in no real trouble. Liam Smith actually held his feet too long in round 3. He stood there and tried to be a bit macho and stand in front of him, which was a bad mistake for him because he was getting caught with that uppercut. I don't think he was hurt, he was okay. But round 4 he came out and absolutely wiped the floor with Chris Eubank Jr. He smashed him to bits, dropped him a couple of times. Eubank Jr. was wobbling, stumbling all over the place. The referee gave him a chance, really. And then when he got knocked down again, the ref called it off. Now, Eubank Jr. said, I wanted to be given the chance to continue, I wanted to carry on. And I think some of the fans did as well, to be fair. But I think the writing was on the wall, and if the fight would have gone on, Eubank Jr. was doing the Bambi dance, his legs were gone, and I don't think there was any way back for him. So the fight was stopped. Round 4, Liam Smith beat Chris Eubank Jr. in a shock win, really. It wasn't as much a shock win as it was a shock the way he won. Nobody expected Chris Eubank Jr. to get flattened so easily. But we've got the rematch tomorrow night. On the weigh-in today, I think I've already mentioned. If I haven't, I'll mention it again. Liam Smith was smack on the 160 weight limit, super welterweight. Chris Eubank Jr. came about £0.5 pound or so under the limit like he did before. But he does look good. He looks ripped. He looks in good shape. So I'm excited to see it, but if I've got to pick a winner, I'm going to go with Liam Smith.
What is the key to victory for both fighters? What advice would you give them?
What advice would I give him? Well, if I'm giving Chris Eubank Jr. any advice, I would say to him, from the outset, I mean, maybe just find your feet, shake the nerves off, keep out of harm's way in round 1. But after that, if I'm in his corner, if I'm advising him, I'm telling Chris Eubank Jr. to get straight in front of Liam Smith. Get in front of him, get in punching range, and let your shots go early. Jump on him, trying to overwhelm him and bamboozle him with that combination punches you do. Get on his chest, push him back, and let them big shots go, because that's what I was expecting the first fight. And if Chris Eubank Jr. is not weight drained, if he feels strong and he feels full of energy, unlike the first one which we saw, his punch resistance was gone. If he does feel like he's in good shape and he fancies the job, get straight on Liam Smith, put your shots together and overwhelm him early. I'm not saying you'll get the early stoppage, but you'll certainly put him in his box and let him sit back and think about what he's doing. You need a good start, Chris Eubank Jr. You've got to start strong to get any kind of foothold on this fight. I think if you sit back and try and box, Liam Smith is going to run rings around him.
And so should Smith just do exactly what he did in the last fight?
Smith had a look, didn't he? He was boxing well. He was under the cosh a little bit in round 3 with them uppercuts, so don't hold your feet. I think Liam Smith needs to box and move and use his boxing IQ, use his experience. He's been a world champion at super welterweight down at 154 before, and he's got the experience. Been in there with Canelo. I know he lost. I just said that, but it's experience at top level. He's got the pedigree, he's got the experience, he's got the amateur experience. So he's a more well-rounded fighter in every department, really. He may not be as big a puncher as Eubank Jr, but people argue with that because look what he did to Eubank Jr in the first fight. He had him all over the place. So Liam pretty much needs to take his time and not let Chris Eubank Jr jump on him early, like I've said. Get Chris Eubank to start fast and get on him. If Beefy Smith can use his range and use his jab, just do that for 2 or 3 rounds. But then again, if the opening's there, which he'll know anyway because he's very experienced, go for it. If the opening comes, take the shot, and if you hurt Eubank Jr, get the job done, because anything can happen. You can get hit with an elbow, a head, get it with a low blow. Seen a few low blows, haven't we, recently? Still very controversial, but I've made my mind up on that one. People know what I think of that. And I think Liam Smith really can box his way early on and then finish the job and get a comfortable decision on this fight.
So if Eubank Jr does lose, is the Conor Ben fight dead, and should he walk away from the sport?
If Chris Eubank Jr loses, then does he walk away from the sport? Probably not, but I'm only saying that because I don't class him as I don't want to say I don't class him as a serious professional boxer, but he's never won a title in professional boxing. He's made decent money doing what he's doing. He was in the Super Series, he's boxed George Groves, he's had a couple of high profile fights. He lost to Billy Joe Saunders many years ago. But I don't think he's in it to win world titles. Chris Eubank Jr is in this game to make money. And he's got that name, because he's got the Eubank name. And he's got the social media following. He's quite a big star. People know him. He's got a crossover appeal as well. So I think even if he loses this fight with Liam Smith, as long as it's not a bad loss and a bad knockout like in the first one where he got totally wiped out, as long as it doesn't go like that. But having said that, even if it does, I think people still might want to see him against somebody like Conor Ben. I just think, but that needs to be at 160. It depends how this fight goes. But I think if Chris Eubank Jr is serious about professional boxing, he needs to step up to 168, super middleweight, and try and do something in that division. Otherwise, go for the Conor Ben fight, which is just a big fight because of the names. Eubank, Ben, it's a big fight. Other than that, if he gets absolutely wiped out in the first one, maybe it is curtains on his career. Maybe he does need to hang the gloves up and leave it well alone.
So what's next for Liam Smith if he wins or loses?
If Liam Smith wins, I think that's put to bed the saga. Actually, I didn't mention, if Chris Eubank Jr wins the fight, then that's one apiece. So that's going to make for a great trilogy, depending on how the fight goes. Because I've picked Liam Smith to win, I'm not considered Chris Eubank Jr winning. If he does win, if it's a great fight like the first one, what a great fight was it? But it was a spectacle. But if Eubank Jr can pull off the win, which I don't think he does, then we can have the trilogy. One fight all, let's have the third one. It's great for everybody. Pay-per-view on Sky, no world title involved, but it's a big fight. It's a big name in Eubank. Liam Smith's the next world champion. So the rematch, the trilogy, the third one, that could happen if Liam Smith loses. But if he wins, I think he needs to go down to £154. I think that's where he could be potentially dangerous. You know, this is the division where he's become world champion before, and I think if he's got any future in the sport, if he wants it at 35 years old, he's got a chance to fight for a world title, because that's where the money will be. And I think you've got Jamel Charlo hovering around that weight. He's talking about coming up to middleweight, Jamel Charlo. He's there in the rankings with the WBC at middleweight, which is obviously £160, which is what this fight's made at. But he's talking about fighting Terence Crawford, who'll just be Errol Spence. So maybe Charlo's going to go down, or maybe Terence is going to come up and meet them in a catchweight. But there's options for Liam Smith. Liam Smith should probably fight for a world title in his next fight, should he be successful against Chris Eubank Jr, which I think he will be. But I think that world title fight needs to be down at a lighter weight for him to have any chance of winning. But who knows? Maybe it wasn't Chris Eubank Jr feeling weak and drained, and that's the reason he got flattened. Maybe it was Liam Smith is strong up at 160 and he belongs there, and he could finish his career there and win a world title. We'll wait and see. But I think the future for either one of these fighters could be very fruitful should they win.
So just give us your official prediction of this fight.
My official prediction, which I kind of think I've already said. I've not already said that. What's coming up for?
Sorry, no, yeah, saying it again.
Yeah, but you're supposed to be. You can narrate this a little.
It just says at the very end. What is your official prediction?
My official prediction for this fight is is Chris Eubank Jr to get flattened. I did say earlier he might end up winning on points, Liam Smith. He could end up getting himself to a victory, a decision victory, but I think the decision's going to be in Liam Smith's favour. I think it's going to come by stoppage. If he doesn't come early, it will be mid to late. I think he gets Eubank Jr out of there. I think Liam Smith will turn the screw around the middle rounds and get to Chris Eubank, who I don't think will be able to cope with the pressure and the boxing IQ from Liam Smith as the fight goes into later rounds, if it gets there. This has been another episode of Froch on Fighting. Don't forget to hit subscribe and also hit that notification bell, because I will be doing a reaction video to the big fight tomorrow night between Smith and Eubank, repeat or revenge. I think it's going to be a repeat. Yep, hit that notification bell, and then as soon as I've done the video, you'll be informed immediately. I wouldn't want you to miss out on this absolutely gorgeous face. Look at it. Well, you're the one that told me I'm gorgeous. You are. Anyway, until next time.